Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to our friends and supporters joining us from the U.S., Israel, and around the world. On today's call, I will update you on how Jewish National Fund USA is supporting Israel during this challenging time. We will then be briefed by Israel Defense Forces representative Reuven Bar Shalom. This will be followed by a Q&A and then updates from the Gaza envelope by Michal Uziachu, our CEO, Russell Robinson, and then we will conclude today's call. Friends of Israel, I have no words, yet I haven't stopped talking. I feel numb, yet pain radiates through my soul. Last week we laughed, today we cry. Tomorrow there will be more pain. However, our light and irrepressible love for life can never be extinguished. Men, women, and children, our friends, our family, were attacked by the forces of evil. From multiple fronts, they were shot at, kidnapped, and killed by Hamas terrorists. Over the past 24 hours, we activated our JNF Situation Room, where our CEOs, Russell Robinson, and our Israel-based operations team are managing support efforts in coordination with local mayors and community organizations as we address an array of immediate needs. We're not working from 7,000 miles away, but rather on the ground and in the streets with the people of Israel. Today, we launched a $10 million Israel Resilience Campaign, which we need to reach over the next 30 days to meet these needs. Funds from this campaign will provide housing support for displaced families, activities for Israeli school children, as schools are expected to be closed for the foreseeable future, bomb shelters, firefighting equipment, and psychological support, and so much more. Gifts can be made at jnf.org/support Israel. Just a few hours ago, I heard that the 160 American students at our high school in Israel are packing over 1,000 care bags that will be given to communities and hospitals in Israel throughout Jewish National Fund and through Jewish National Fund USA's Macomb communities. I want to say that these kids are our future leaders. However, as they stepped up to help, their future has come today. Their torch has been lit, and their lifelong connection to their ancestral soil forever forged in this shared experience. Almost to the day, we mark 50 years since the Yom Kippur War. Like then, the air is unpredictable. We don't know what will happen. However, as we, the Jewish people, have come to learn over the past 4,000 years, not even the darkest forces can extinguish our light. Following today's call, we will hold daily emergency update calls to appraise you of the latest developments. We will share more information on how to join these calls shortly. If you have a question for today's participants, please enter it into the chat, and our moderator will get to as many questions as possible. It's now my honor to introduce Israel Defense Forces representative, Reuven Bar Shalom, who will provide us an update on the current situation. Thank you.
One second, we're just making sure Reuven's on.
If Reuven's not available right now, we can go to Michal.
Michal is on.
Okay, why don't we go to Michal?
Hi, shalom everyone.
And Michal, if we need to interrupt you, because Reuven comes in, please understand.
Yeah, I will. So I'm breathing deep. It's not easy. These are not easy days for us at all. Yesterday at 6:30 a.m., a massive attack over the Gaza envelope. And except for having our communities here regularly, we had a very big nature party in Eshkol with 3,000 people from all over Israel that came to celebrate life, celebrate Sukkot. 6:30, it was massive attack, also from with parachutes from above and from all over. I was just asked to present myself. So if you don't know, my name is Michal Uziyahu. I used to be a liaison for JNF in the Gaza envelope. Today, I'm one of the JNF-USA staff people in Israel, and I live here in Eshkol, part of the Gaza envelope. Going back to what really happened, it was massive attack that no one predicted. We were planning for many, many scenarios, something like the scenario that we are dealing with today. Even our biggest nightmare wasn't taking it that far. The situation, you know, if you heard me before, I always tell you that we are ready whenever attack starts. We're ready, we are prepared. We have emergency teams in every community. We have first response teams with the men who volunteer in each community. We know the drill, and we know we have 30 full camp. At the beginning, we'll always have to deal with defending the entire country of Israel, but after 30 minutes, they will be there for us. And what happened yesterday morning, it was such a huge, massive attack through tunnels, through crushing the fence with Israel. And they attacked in our communities everywhere with motorcycles, with trucks. They went into people's houses, people that are, I can't even say terrorists. Terrorist is saying the list of these people. These people, the Hamas, the leadership of Gaza, it's not even terrorists. It's people with no humanity. It's savages. It's people that came to murder civilians. We are still trying to understand the full picture today. But we understand that we lost a lot of children and teenagers and families and elderly people and good friends. We lost the first responders. We are dealing with a chaos right now that we are starting to get hold of right now. But we were waiting for hours till the IDF will manage to take over the situation. And we don't know today still what is the full price that we paid for it. Things are better now. Things are more under control. But I can tell you that we have many, many families and children and teenagers and women and elderly people that are kidnapped in Gaza. And we do not know what is going on with them. We have a couple of parents that were murdered in Kfar Aza, in Sha'ar HaNegev, with twins that are 1 year old. And their family is asking to know even when is the funeral. And all we can say is we are not dealing with funerals right now. We are in a survival mode right now. I know that it's tough to see me crying, and I want you to remember, yes, we are devastated.
Can I interrupt you for a moment? Take a breath, take some water, and we're going to go to Reuven, and then we'll come back to you.
Oh, hello, everyone. I was going to say that it's tough to speak after that. It's even more tough to speak in the middle. Um, can you hear me now? Can I get any
Yes,
confirmation that you hear me?
yes.
Okay, so shalom. My name is I'm Colonel in Reserve Reuven Ben Shalom, serving now in the IDF spokesperson unit. So I'm going to give you the official picture of what's going on now. And the truth is, what we just heard, it's not going from the emotional side now to the official perspective of what's happening on the ground, because it is the same. The attack that happened yesterday is the worst terror attack in IDF history, in Israel's history. And Israel calls it a war. And notice that from the first second that it started, the Israeli leadership said we are at war. If you know us, that's very strange for us. Usually it takes us time to realize that it's a war, to declare and define it as a war for various reasons. Here, since Hamas launched such a massive attack, opened a war with Israel, there is no question what we are in. The scale, the magnitude is overwhelming. As we just heard, it was from the ground, air, sea, underground, from multiple points, which also means that it was very difficult to pinpoint where the problem is, because it was all throughout the sector. About 30 penetration points through the fence. Their main agenda was to attack civilians, to go to communities from house to house, burn houses, drag people out, and I'm not going to get into too many descriptions, but brutally massacre men, women, and children, and abduct and kidnap and take hostages back to Gaza. And unfortunately, the numbers are in the dozens. The whole issue of numbers is very difficult. You know, we have several sensitivities here. The idea, if we have strict protocols as far as releasing the number of soldiers, we only do it after confirmation and notifying the families. But the numbers, we understand where they are. And every time you hear a number, you know that that number is going to rise. So about 50 Israelis, even old women and their caregivers, young children, 2, 5 years old, dragged into Gaza and held there as hostages now. So we have a open hostage situation on our hands, which adds to the pain, to the suffering, to the complexity. Since yesterday, IDF forces, of course, have been mobilized to the area, fighting from house to house, from village to village, to try to clear the area. Also, I can only add to what was, or join what was just said now, that the situation is much better, much more under control, but not totally under control. I know that's also amazing to grasp, but with so many hundreds of terrorists swarming into Israel and going in all directions, many of them fled to various areas. I'm not sure we got all of them. During the day today, we still had terrorists popping up in different places, attacking, and unfortunately still killing, trying to take more hostages. Extremely complex challenge, difficult fight on the ground, and not totally over yet. Looking at the objectives for the IDF, and again, I just have to apologize to you, but I am wearing uniform, representing an army. So I have to try to take it to this dimension of what are our objectives. And this is, of course, given to us from the political echelon. At this point in time, it's very clear that the directive has to do with finishing up, clearing the area, returning stability to the villages, making sure that we don't have any more terrorists in our territory. The next phase that will be defined will have to deal with how severe is the blow that we deliver to Hamas? What is the ultimate objective? I get asked a lot about the possibility of a ground maneuver, of sending IDF soldiers into Gaza, another sensitive issue in Israel. Yet when we are at war, this is certainly an option that we're preparing for, deploying forces, and if directed to do so, the IDF could do so and go into the Gaza Strip, all the way to toppling the Hamas regime. Again, we don't know what the ultimate directive will be. Another point we have to make is that, some people compare this to 9/11. Americans can look back to the devastation and to the surprise attack of Pearl Harbor. The difference between this and 9/11 is that there, a devastating blow, and after a certain amount of time, it's over, and now the pain, the suffering, the recuperating. Yet here we are in the midst of it. It's not over. It's not only the matter of the arena of Gaza. We have to look all aspect. This morning we had mortars coming in from Hezbollah that had to, of course, to show their solidarity. Who knows if it ends there? Hezbollah might decide under the directive and auspices of Iran to take this further and launch another attack from the north and escalate the situation. We think it would be a grave mistake from Hezbollah's perspective, because the surprise attack yesterday, of course, will not be a surprise attack now when we have deployed forces all looking and waiting and preparing. So this would be answered immediately if such an event would occur. But we do have this other arena to look to and look all aspect. We also have Judea and Samaria with the Palestinians there looking around, seeing what's happening. Also here we could see clashes, and looking back to one of the previous operations in Israel, we saw even riots inside of Israel, a lot of tension. So for us, it is a complex challenge in the beginning phases of it. Resilience is the name of the game for us. We have no choice. The pain, the suffering is also not only a matter for civilians, but including for us, our mission now of understanding the scope of the situation, managing to get in touch with all the families, giving them full information and contact with them. Also, this has been a challenge in the last 24 hours, and I hope we're going to get better and better at this. So we are at war. We need your support. It's so important for me to address you, because the support we get from you is part of our resilience. So I thank you. I think we need you. We need you by our side, and as we heard, physically and spiritually, and this connection is very important. So that's all I have for you. If you want anything to direct me or ask me, I'm at your disposal.
Reuven, thanks for your time. We do have a question that came in, and then we're going to go back to Michal. We know your time is precious, so we don't want to hold you up. Joey, if you could just read the question, and then we'll ask Reuven to respond.
There you go. Hi, Reuven. Someone asked, why was the grand scale of the attack such a surprise to intelligence and the IDF?
Well, this will be the number one question, but not now, because we're fighting. It's not the time to ask the question. There is no doubt that this was a surprise attack. It caught us off guard, and it should not happen. We could debate this issue, and going back to, comparing to 9/11, 9/11 was a big attack. Things at this magnitude, when they happen for the first time, you are surprised. I don't think we should be surprised. We should learn the lessons, but the time will come to do it. Look back at the Yom Kippur War. The main issue there after the war was a national commission of inquiry, looking inside, assessing, checking, finding the answers, and 50 years later, still debating what are those lessons and how do we make it better. I have no doubt that after the war, this will be a major issue, not now.
Reuven, thanks for joining us today. I know you're busy. Thank you for your service and
if
for
I
all you
can
do.
just say something, Sol, thank you
Yeah,
so
sure.
much, Reuven, too. And thank you for emphasizing the part of resiliency. We trust you, the IDF, that you will do everything. You are part of us, and we are part of you. And I will say it now because it's important for me that you will hear it. They can break our houses, and they can hurt our bodies and even kill us, but they will never kill our spirit. So thank you. You are part of this important part of the spirit that we hold today. Toda rabba.
Thank you, Michal. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Reuven.
you all.
So now we'll go back to Michal, and then we will switch over to Russell, who's at the JNF Situation Room in Hod HaSharon. Michal.
You will hear me crying a lot in the future too because of the situation. We lost good friends in the last couple of days, and amazing children. I told someone today, the play school where the Groove Tech that we were hosting just last week, two buses, Jewish National Fund USA buses that came to the Groove Tech, and it's a place that is so full with children and community life, and to know that we lost so many of them in this last 48 hours almost is devastating. It will take us a long time to heal from this. Eshkol and the Gaza envelope will never be the same. This is a historic moment. Even the Yom Kippur War that everyone compares the situation to the Yom Kippur War is nothing like what's happening now, because this is about civilian casualties. You will see me crying a lot, but I want you to know that it's okay. We don't feel weak while crying. We know that it's part of understanding and realizing the situation. But we will grow of it. We have no other choice. This is Israel. It's our only home. But we need to understand who we are dealing with. And it's important for me. Many of you are asking me, what can you do? So besides supporting us, because we will need your support the day after, it's important that you will share this story. Us Western people, sometimes we mistake by trying to acknowledge the reality from both sides. There is no two sides to this story. There is no good guys and bad guys. There is no need to understand why are they doing it? What's the tough situation there? There is no reason to justify such a horrific, a devastating attack on civilians. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for being there. We always say that we know that you are that you are with us the day before and during emergency, and we know that we can rely on you the day after. We will really need to rely on you.
Michal, thank you for joining us during this tough time. You're not crying alone, I can tell you that. Even Lauren went through a few tissues so far. So we are with you. We'll continue to support you. I know how much the JNF means to the Eshkol region, and we will be there for you. Now let's switch to the JNF Situation Room, where Russell and our staff is there.
Thank you, Saul, Michal. I'm sitting here in Israel in a situation room that you helped establish. I wanted to talk to all of you because I want to first just echo a couple of things that Michal said that I will tell you throughout this call. And that is that silence cannot be the decision. That if you are keeping quiet and you're not sharing the stories, if you're not sharing the pain, if you're not sharing the spirit, you're not doing your job. So I'm going to start by just telling you that when we set up the Situation Room in your city, you can see some of the people in this room. We have with us even Olga Washington, who was one of the 25 top visionaries in the world that was selected and came here to receive her award at Jerusalem Post, but is one of the great Zionist people. And I thank her for being here all day with us, and will be here tomorrow as well. You see the people around here, we have not been looking at things at 30,000 feet or 7,000 miles away, as Saul said. We are literally every single day, every single minute here, we are talking to all of our people, from the north to the south. And the $10 million campaign that we've announced here, I am going to be very honest with you, I believe that number is going to go up. It's going to go up in the only days ahead of us. Here at Muss High School, and I'll start with that, outside in the lobby here has been delivered over 1,000 bottles of shampoo that tomorrow, as Saul said, our 160 teenagers are going to be packing 1,300 packages, care packages that are going to the hospitals all across Israel. Because there's over 1,000 people, well over 1,000 who are injured in hospitals. So you're always going to hear the number of the mortalities. murders, but there's a lot of injured people, and we're not going to let anybody stand and wait behind. We are there with them every day. It is this situation room that found the last 6 or 7 night light goggles that were available in all of Israel. Because in many of these villages throughout the Gaza envelope, at night, the electricity isn't working, and without a nighttime goggle, they can't even see, and it's not something that they can wait for the army or the police. We have to protect them from Shar HaNegev, Eshkol, and all of Sderot and the entire Gaza envelope. But you can also bring the opportunity of tomorrow today as well. Because one of our dear friends, Ophir Lipskin, the mayor of Shar HaNegev, person who many of you have worked with and side by side, people in this room, myself, were sending my texts to make sure when I first heard about the situation, how was everybody? And only 30 minutes later did I hear that Ophir was one of the casualties as he tried to protect his own community of Shar HaNegev. The last meeting that we had with Ophir was talking about a sports center that we're building, but it wasn't a sports center because you had to hear his feeling of life. Talking about the Ethiopians that we're going to be using it, talking about the community, how it was going to galvanize and bring people to Shar HaNegev. At the same time, he took me to the hilltop to look over, to see where he was looking at building an industrial zone because he wanted to provide the Palestinians with jobs. So I want you to hear Michal's words, that we're not talking about 2 sides of a story, it's one side of a story. And we're answering that with this $10 million campaign, and your answer has to be that you have to go, yes, to the JNF site, to jnf.org, support Israel, or just call your professional. And not only make your commitment, make 5, 10 phone calls. We cannot have anybody left. There's over 2,000 people that are just joining us here on this call. And it's going to be shared on social media, and you have to share it on your site. And you have to tell the story, because it's not about the fundraising of it. It's about the fundraising opportunity to make a difference between good and evil. It is the difference that we're making that today, our staff in our situation room got a call that from one community, Shlomit, 350 people, they wanted to move to one community because people are being evacuated. And we have places here, we have over 2,000 sites now that we have worked with our affiliates, our people. This situation room has been working to make sure that there's not a person doesn't have a place to go. But when Shlomit called, they asked, for what we've been through, we'd like to bring 350 of our people to one location. This situation room did not wait a second. Phone calls were made, and action was taken. And I have to tell you that within the next 48 hours, 350 people from Shlomit will be relocated in Gush Etzion. Because of you, because of what we're doing, and because of this situation room and all the people that are working with their families and the traumas that they're going through. And there's no circles of families that have not been hurt by this situation. No one. Everyone's feeling it, from people who've been called up in their family and know that they're going to be in a long, protracted war, people that are sitting and working every single day and have family members and have losses and cousins. It's people that we have provided 5 bomb shelters immediately for Ramat HaNegev, or Ramat HaNegev who didn't have enough bomb shelters, but we're moving families to Ramat HaNegev from the Gaza envelope. From the Arava, and now in the north, you should know the Lauder Employment Center, today, we were requested by the Israeli army to take over first our safe room for their operations. I believe it will take over more of the building as well. I'm sad that they have the need for. I'm excited that we built the kind of building that they felt that they came and requested that use of it. It is the work that is being done with the 160 kids here at MUS. I want you to imagine, these are teenagers. I've been here all day. I've seen teenagers crying, some because they were being told that their parents wanted them to come home, others the uncertainty. They're 3,000, 4,000 miles away. They're here studying, 16, 17-year-olds. They're away from their parents. They're seeing the TikToks and seeing the videos that you're seeing on social media. And they're here. But who are their parents? It is the staff members that are here at the Must High School. So if you ever think that we're having a teacher here, we have a madrich here, that we have an Israel education teacher, we have parents, we have people that are literally providing them with everything that you would provide your children and grandchildren, as well as their well-being. I had to meet with the madrichs that were here. The people that are with you, those children every single day, they have suffered their own losses or have family members that have been called up. And many of them have been called up as well. You have to understand that the opportunity that you are being given to be a partner with the people of Israel is now. It'll be tomorrow. Is exactly what Michal said. We'll be here. As we have been there yesterday, we'll be here today, and we'll be here tomorrow. There's other losses and there's other people that we will mourn. We will have the sadness and we'll have the anger, but we have to take that anger, and as the people of Gaza envelope have worked every day, they've been turning the pages of anger, in the words of Michal and so many others, the 95% of heaven and the 5% of hell. This week, that percentage went up. It depends on each and every one of you, that what you're going to do in the next days, that how that percentage gets reduced in the days ahead, in the weeks ahead. And it's not for it to happen now, it's going to happen in the week and weeks and weeks and weeks. There's people that are going to forget because it's not going to be on the central news every single day, but we will never forget. We will never stop standing next to these people. We're facing the issues today, but I will tell you, you should be very proud of the Jewish National Fund USA, because this situation, Ruben, what we're doing every single day is that we are making a difference, and we're making it from the streets. We're talking to the people. And the words that I heard from Yoel today when he was talking to the people of social media, they couldn't believe people that don't know us, that we don't know them. And we're providing this for them. If this doesn't tell the real story of who we are, of who Zionists are, who the Jewish people are, about our connection to Israel, then there's no story to tell. And I am going to plug that on November 30th is our global conference in Denver. If you haven't signed up, Thursday night is going to be our rallying call of thousands of people to talk about this, because I got to tell you, at our conference, there's going to be one individual who's not going to be there. That's Ophir. But if you looked, he had already registered. He looked forward to this. In the words of Ophir, when I asked him, why are you so excited about coming to our conference? He said, I want to be with my family. So thank you all for being a family and making the difference in the $10 million campaign today. Thank you, Saul.
So, Russell, I'm sure you've received, like I have, so many emails or texts from people that are living in a war zone under all this stress, and they're texting us thanking the JNF while they're living under this situation. It's remarkable how they've come to recognize and in some cases rely on the JNF. So you mentioned this rally. Just so people know, it's Thursday, November 30th in Denver as part of our 3-day national global conference. You can go on the JNF site, jnf.org, and register. So we'll conclude today's update. We'll have them daily as necessary. And we wish everybody, safety. We do have another question that came in. Joey, if you want to read it.
Yes, we've received a number of questions. I can just read them all off if that would be the best.
Why don't we take them one at a time?
Great. Russell, I'm wondering if you could please update us about the situation in Sderot, about what's happening down there.
So when I say the Gaza envelope, I mean Sderot is all included into the Eshkol and Shar HaNegev area. Sderot had all, and again, these are things you could read on. I'm not going to talk about the military and the terrorist action that was there. But if you read that there was the police department, even in Sderot, was taken over by the terrorists. And there's going to be a lot of evacuation from the entire area during a military operation. It is much better, safer to be evacuating the people. But Joey, I'm going to take the opportunity to tell people that the real therapeutic problems that we're going to face, that the people of the entire Gaza envelope are going to face, is not the day that they're going to be taken away and relocated. It is the day that they're going to be returning in 1 week, in 2 weeks, whatever that is. When they return, I want you to imagine a family, a child, who's going to look across the street and know that that neighbor is not there anymore. There's many families that know that the last time that they heard that there was knocking on the door was not somebody to find out how they were doing. It was a terrorist trying to get into their home. So the Resilience Center and the work that we do in therapy throughout the Gaza envelope, Sderot, everywhere. The real work is going to be the day when they return and beyond. And that's, again, why we have to stand with them. So when I talk to Gaza envelope, it's everywhere.
Joey, the next question.
Thank you. We're also wondering if you could please provide an update on Halutza, about Halutza, please.
About what?
About
Halutza.
So Halutza was one of the places I talked about. Shlomit was one of the communities. Halutza was, I said, 350 people from Shlomit are being moved in the next 48 hours to Gush Etzion.
Thank you. Someone was also wondering.
I can say about Halutza that Halutza were not one of the communities that were penetrated, but the people of Halutza were one of the first responders while waiting for the IDF to respond, and you could see people crying for help in the WhatsApp groups and waiting, when is the IDF coming? Many of the people of Halutza managed to, in Shabbat, during the holiday, managed to take equipment that they had there and reach out for help. We have a lot of missing people also from Halutza, since they went closer to the communities that were in emergency and were helping them. So a lot of heroes.
You know, in Halutza and in other areas, we have supplied many fire trucks and fire wagons, which part of this fund will also go to. The wagons, if people don't know, are smaller type vehicles that can go into areas that a large fire truck cannot go into. These are very vital pieces of equipment that we've been providing for years, and of course we're going to have to provide more now. One last question, Joey.
Yes. What is being done to secure our students currently at AMHSI?
So it's a good question, and it's a complicated question. We are obviously assessing the situation every single minute. We are taking all the protocols. Yesterday, the kids were in Jerusalem when all of this started. They spent the night in a bomb shelter in Jerusalem. And if you want to see a great video, it's a video of them not only in a bomb shelter, but singing and dancing. When they came here late at night, we met them, fed them, because they just had dinner only 3 hours before. So we fed them again. And today Olga spoke to the group as well, and they started their studies. They were doing mathematics today as well as other program. Again, you had the uniqueness of the program is how holistic it is in all of the parts of their lives. And so I don't want to get into the particulars, but we're taking every protocol and every security issue and making the decisions based upon the information and the availability of opportunities that we have to take. But as we do with them, these are our precious commodity that we take as a special responsibility, and the Jewish National Fund is during COVID and every other time, nothing is more precious to us than taking care of their security. So we're following that, and we're taking all the protocols, and we're going to make all the right decisions.
So with that, we'll wrap it up. I will one more time just mention jnf.org/support Israel, and every dollar will be directed towards this relief resilience program. It's not going into the general fund. It's going directly into this resilience program. So thanks to everyone who joined us. We'll keep you updated on future Zooms, and you can always ask your professional in your area. If you have a question, please reach out to them. We'll do our best to respond. So thanks for joining.